Welcome to a new episode. So today we're going to talk about the difference between spiritual knowledge and material knowledge. Or in Sanskrit we can say um, Paravidya, that means spiritual knowledge, and Jada-Vidya or Apara. I can also say Apara-Vidya. So this will be the topic today. And it is more or less a continuation of the last video, so if you have not watched that yet, you can link is in the description. And I just want to go in more details or look at it from a different perspective. So in the Vedic culture or the Vedic scriptures, yeah, they are covering all types of knowledge. They are covering Paravidya, spiritual knowledge, as well as Aparavidya, which is material knowledge. Spiritual knowledge, Paravidya, is always about the knowledge about Atma and Paramatma, about the eternal self, the spiritual self, and the supreme spiritual self, the supreme consciousness, the individual consciousness and the supreme consciousness. This is Atma, that is the living entities, which are embodied in many different species in the world. And Paramatma, who is the maintainer of this world, the source of this world, the controller of this world. So the knowledge about Atma and Paramatma, that is Paravidya, that is spiritual knowledge, and knowledge that is pertaining to the mana and deha, to the body and the mind, that is Jada-Vidya, that is material knowledge. Or Apara means like lower knowledge, Paravidya means higher knowledge. Other names of the Paravidya, of the spiritual knowledge, is also Atma Gyan. Gyan means knowledge. We can also say Jada Gyan here. And Divya-Jnana, transcendental knowledge. So these are different expressions of the same thing. Divya-Jnana, Atma-Jnana, Paravidya, Bhagavat-Jnana. Bhagavat means knowledge about the Supreme Personality, about the Supreme Consciousness, and so on. So the Vedas, they deal with both, because for a society to function, we need Deha-Gyan and Mana-Gyan. We need knowledge about our body and our mind, so in order to live our life. So then spheres of knowledge like Ayurveda, the Ayurveda, which is about knowledge about health, that is Jada-Vidya. Astrology also, Jyotish, that is also about the body and mind. It is not transcendental knowledge. Jyotish is not transcendental knowledge. Of course, then Vedas have many things. There's also Dhanurveda about warfare, has about politics and diplomacy and everything about so many things are in the Vedas. So many things that are described in the Vedas, they are there. They're Jada-Vidya, they're Apara-Vidya, they're lower knowledge, which is describing about the body and the mind, but they're needed to run a society, to run our life. If you want to maintain your family, you will have to have some sort of Jada-Vidya in order to earn your livelihood, in order to educate your children so that they will be able to earn their livelihood and they will be able to deal with life. This is needed. But the core and the goal of life is this Paravidya. So it is the example is given by our teachers that you can have like 5 zeros and they will be useless. If you have only 5 zeros, then it will be useless. But if you put a number 1 in front of it, then you will have 100,000, which is very valuable. So this is the principle. It's like the Divya-Jnana, Atma-Jnana is considered to be the value 1, and these are there. The Jada-Vidya is compared to the 0. So you have so much knowledge about Ayurveda. You have so much. You're a very brilliant astrologer. You know so much about biology and science. You know so much about education, how to deal with the mind, psychology. You know so many things. You know so many things about how to run a business. You're very smart in trading or whatever. So these are all zeros, and if you not put a 1 in front, they will not have a real tangible value. I mean, all the zeros, all this knowledge have value in the world for the mind and the body, but it has no value for the atma, for the soul, which is the real self. So therefore, we need that 1 in front in order to have a tangible value for our eternal self. So the idea here is also that you can, all the material knowledge you have should finally help you, or let's say like you know how to, you're a good businessman and you're making a lot of money. So that money which you are earning should give you more spare time, so that in order you can cultivate Atma-Jnana. And in that way, you are putting a 1 in front of the 0, which is just having a good business, which is valuable in the terms of Deha and Mana, but it is not valuable in the term of the soul. But you can use the spare time that you have, because your business is earning money for you, you can use to cultivate Atma-Jnana. And then you will put a 1 in front of the 0, and you will have a real value. And so that is the way of the Vedic life. So and another point I want to raise here is that how we can get this Paravidya and Atma-Vidya and this Divya-Jnana, how we get it. If we are, as we discussed in the last video, if we are just reading the scriptures by ourselves, we will only dwell in the realm of this. We will only dwell in this realm. We will only be able to understand the material side of the knowledge of the Vedas. This spiritual side only can come. We can only get an understanding of this Paravidya through a spiritual master, in whose heart this transcendental knowledge is alive. And the process that this Paravidya is coming into your heart, that process is called Diksha. That is initiation. An initiation is not a thing that happens once in a ceremony. It is a process. It is the process that makes the individual self know the Supreme Self through the medium of the spiritual master. So as we discussed in the last video, the spiritual master has to come in a disciplic succession, and he must have heard this Paravidya through his ear and must have realized it within his heart, and he can again speak it, and we have to listen it. And in that way, this Paravidya can be revealed in our heart. But this is a very tricky thing, and this is a point I want to raise here also, is that, and it happens a lot in our society, that there are certain books in the Vedas, the Upanishads, especially the Vedanta Sutra, then the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita deals with everything, deals with this and with this, but like the Upanishads especially, they especially deal with this Paravidya. And if you approach this Paravidya without the guidance of a spiritual master, though you may use the same terms and you may quote the same verses, but it is still remain material. It will not be able to become realized in your heart. It will only remain theoretical. You might build a big mental construct of all this Divya-Jnana and Atma-Jnana, but you will not taste the ripened fruit of it unless you have received it through the listening process from a bona fide spiritual master who himself comes in the listening Shrotapanta, in the listening path, in the path of listening. So therefore, Vedic knowledge is received through listening from a bona fide spiritual master. This Paravidya. This Aparavidya, Jyotish you can learn by just learning books. There are many very brilliant astrologers who learn astrology very well just by reading the Shastra, reading the books. And that is all right. But that is only pertaining to the material knowledge. The understanding of the self and the realization of the relationship of the self with the Paramatma and the 100% reality perception of God, so to say, the face-to-face encounter with God, only happens through the process of Diksha, through the initiation with a real spiritual master who comes in the disciplic succession, in whose heart this Paravidya is alive. Yeah. So this video now is already running for 11 minutes and 40 seconds, okay? So thank you for listening. So this was, I just wanted to make this point again more clear from the last video, that the Vedas, they deal with both knowledge, they deal with material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. And material knowledge we can just also read by ourselves, though there might be some also misconceptions will sneak in if you're not receiving it in a parampara system. But nevertheless, you can get very good results, you can get so much knowledge, you can also help a lot of people in the material realm with the Vedic knowledge, Ayurveda and astrology and so on. But the real juice of Vedic knowledge is the Divya-Jnana, and that is the real experienced realization of the eternal self and its relationship to the Paramatma. And that is only received through the spiritual master, through the process of Diksha, by the listening process. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe, please hit the like button. If you subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell so that when I upload a video or publish a video, then you will get a notification on your handphone. It will be in the notification that Vedic Spirituality uploaded a new video and so on. And please leave a comment. If you have a question, please ask it in a comment. And yeah, so we will continue this series about Vedic culture, Vedic knowledge. Next video will be about the 3 modes of material nature. Have a nice day. It was really nice talking to you.